Sorry, that one didn't warn me that it was going to stop, so I apologize for that. So we'll get back to work here. Um, exit out of that. So anyway, the Palmer raids again. Most people weren't charged with a crime; they would just find different groups that were suspected of being communist, usually deport them. So big fear of communist uprising comes even before the Cold War, during World War I. So this is technically shortly after World War I. Because it's 1919 and 1920, but it still is a domestic impact of the war, in the U.S. being involved in this European conflict. Um, Fighting the war, we didn't spend a whole lot of time on. We see this map. This is the Western Front, mostly fighting in Spain in the trench warfare, but you also have the Eastern Front over here, with Germany and Austria-Hungary and Russia, Serbia. So once again, the 14 points were not the peace agreement, but it was Woodrow Wilson's idea that he was proclaiming for peace. And those are the broad principles. So if you see these are things that are very nice. A lot of these solve the things that started the war. So freedom of the seas, which is related to militarism, um, with the submarine warfare, ending that, free trade. Again, trying to get rid of the imperialism or imperialistic natures, allowing nations to trade with one another. No more secret treaties, so trying to get rid of alliances. Reducing national armaments, so again trying to combat militarism. Trying to end imperialism by letting different nationalities have self-determination or developing their own government, and then also adjust colonies and take colonized viewpoints into account. So again, imperialism, and then a League of Nations, which is just supposed to try to solve all these issues if they ever come up again. So again, this wasn't involving blaming anybody, making people pay for damages. It was really just kind of like, let's get back together and try to not let this happen again and try to solve as many issues as possible. But when Germany gets to the the Paris peace signing, they get the Treaty of Versailles, which is much different. So basically, what happened was Britain and France told Wilson, like, we're not going to do that. That's a little terrible. It's way too nice, it's way too sympathetic. So we need blood, and we need money, and we need to make sure Germany really pays for this. So they created a bunch of new nations, which you'll see on the map, which is important just for national history, and also changing the landscape of Europe. It broke up the Ottoman Empire. One thing I emphasize, just because it affects you today, is it creates the Middle East area, where what happened was you had many different nationalities and ethnicities that were put in lumped into different countries together, and there weren't many people that felt like they were being friends or friendly with one another. So that was an issue that still causes turmoil today. It got rid of Germany's most of Germany's military, required them to return territory to France, and then the big one, made them pay $33 billion back to the Allies in what's called reparations. So that's going to be a big issue going forward. One of the big causes of World War II was that Germany was unable to pay these, so they're going to have some problems. Rise of totalitarian dictators. Here's the map. Again, you've got Germany kind of loses chunk of territory over here, but also Russia, which was one of the allies, loses a whole bunch of territory. So you can see the new Soviet Union. You've got Poland, Latvia, Estonia, um, Czechoslovakia kind of taking a little bit as well. So you've got a whole bunch of countries countries that are carved out of the Soviet Union. So they're kind of upset because they didn't have a say in the treaty based on their civil war. Italy was promised some land but didn't really get any. They get just like a real little bit, right? If you can see right there. And then obviously Germany loses its territorial possessions, but doesn't lose nearly as much territory as Russia does. Middle East again used to be the Ottoman Empire. Right here, you can see that gets torn apart and it becomes places that you hear a lot about lately with conflicts: Syria, Iraq, Jordan, sometimes Turkey. Then you've got Lebanon and these other group areas over here that are still, battleground areas in general. Um, so here's some big weaknesses. So the first big thing is Germany originally thought it was going to get something like the 14 points, but Britain and France pressured Wilson to be more antagonistic towards Germany. It humiliated Germany. Also, Russia didn't gain territory. It didn't allow colonized people independence, and Congress didn't even ratify it. So the U.S. wasn't really involved in this treaty, and that's where I will leave you. So good luck, people. Let me know if you have any questions. Peace.